All right, welcome to week 8. Can you believe it? We're already 8 weeks through the semester. And in WDD 130, we're now in the stage of creating wireframes for our sub or secondary pages to the main river rafting website. The pages I'm referring to are those that branch off of our main homepage. And if I jump back into my project, which I need to go find in Glitch, I will soon find that I don't have anything done on my secondary pages. So I'm going back to my proper project and I'm trying to figure out what I had in mind. Based on my site plan, and you did this weeks ago, you should have elected to have some secondary pages. And if I come on down here, did I list those? I did. In my original site plan HTML file, I listed that I was interested in doing a contact us page and a facts page, or frequently asked questions. So if I return to my index.html, those are the pages I want to frame through wireframes, and I want to plan those out. You'll also notice I have the About Me as a link. I have my contact, my facts, and of course my home. Now we've done most of the home together. In case you are a little foggy and don't remember, we've been building this river rafting web page together. And you'll notice the links up here should be now changing when you hover over them. Now if you click on, is it facts, frequently asked questions, you'll see nothing's found because I haven't created the page yet. So what we can do is we can create the page, but before we do anything on it, we should really ask ourselves, what do we want it to look like? Okay, so before we even get to that stage, we need to ask ourselves, what's the page? And we need to wireframe it and set it up. Now, if you come back to Canvas, okay, we need to think about what's our subpage content going to consist of. And I've chosen to go with facts and contact us. And hopefully you've already done that. If you haven't, well, it's time to start deciding and making decisions on what content you'd like to fill on the secondary pages. Okay, now if you come on down here, we do provide you with some information that I hope is helpful for you if you want to do the About Us page, or just more information on rivers. We've provided river content for you to use here. Notice that the headings are larger than the main paragraphs. So if you want to use this information, you may for river rafting. If we go on down, look, there's actually information for frequently asked questions. And I see that there's a heading, a series of paragraphs that follow. So I'll have to decide if this is just going to be text heavy and it's not going to have much in terms of imagery. I probably need to allot sufficient space for all this text. I probably will throw in an image or two just to keep things interesting. If we come on down here, there's content for a blog if you choose to do that, rates and dates. And finally, yes, you'll notice the page on Contact Us is pretty bare. So I'll probably just have something simple like an address or a phone number to include there, and maybe an image or two to just spice things up. So again, decide and make a decision on what you'd like your subpages to be. And for me, I'm going to do Contact Us and FAQ. So I'll just demonstrate what a Contact Us page might be like. You'll notice it's right here with the content. There's a lot that's to be desired and filled out. So what I'd like to show you is where you can find some of these helpful guidance tips and walkthroughs on what to do next. So once you decide on the pages, there's nothing to submit there. Watch this video on how to do some wireframes, and I'll demonstrate in this video what you should be thinking of doing. Again, a less formal mock-up for the wireframe. It doesn't need to be super detailed. Just show me where you'd like type to go and where you'd like images to appear. Which brings us now to what's left in week 8 to accomplish. If you haven't already, go check out the discussion. Lots of you have been doing a great job of posting your finishing touches activity. So go there and start publishing the link to your website so we can comment and give each other feedback. Once you've done that, there is a necessary component of the peer review. So I'm just reminding you, click here, view this. After you post a link, I want you to then review 2 other of your classmates' websites and provide them feedback by the end of the week. So let's actually get to the meat of the week, the substance, and that's making your own wireframes. Okay, so if we click here, what I'd like you to do is to spend this time as much as you need to just frame the page. And I'm going to actually demonstrate how to use Wireframe CC to create some sort of mock-up for my Contact Us page. Okay, so I'm talking about this one. Okay, and I just chose to say contact. If I say contact us, just make sure it's, consistent. If you're not including the us, just omit it entirely. But then on the page, if you have the us, it may confuse people. So just be consistent with your navigation and the titles of your pages. So just keep them the same. So contact, if I create the new file, then I should say, yeah, contact.html. It's simple enough, right? Contact.html is the name of my file, and it will be the name of my page. So I can just add it now. I won't be actually doing anything here yet though, but let's go check out the wireframe CC. And this is my go-to area. Now, if I want to review the wireframe that we did before, can we see if there's a link to that just to remind us? Scroll on down here. You'll repeat this wireframe exercise for the second page. Oh, I'm actually not seeing the original wireframe here. So I'm glad that I have my actual website that I can pull up, which is here. Let's actually pull it up because I'd like to base my contact page off of my main page, index.html. So if I look at it, yeah, we've got some navigation up here followed by the logo. I do want to repeat this on contact to be consistent. I want to have the same logo and I want to have the same navigational links here. And I'm thinking of including the same banner image on my contact us page, but I might actually omit it entirely. I want that to be special and unique to the homepage. So I might just get right to contact with just a heading and a paragraph of information, and then maybe follow that up with an image. So to just demonstrate, let's do that. And I like to split my screen so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. Let's see if we can do this. Pull up this over here on a separate tab. Ah, beautiful. And let's pull this way over. Let's come back here. Resize my window, and hopefully I can still see most of what I need. Yeah, so I can see it. So simply with wireframe, okay, you'll notice there's a series of tools. Okay, if I click on this, for example, what's it doing? It's hiding. It's hiding these dots up here, similar to what you see in a Mac window. You can look at desktop view. It looks like tablet view and mobile view. So you can decide if you want to wireframe something for mobile view. Choose that layout. There's tablet and desktop. I'm going to duplicate desktop for now, even though it looks like it's a mobile version of this site, which I actually need to do some work on it. Can you tell? It's not responsive yet, so that's something to also consider. If you haven't tested your site in mobile view, you will want to go back and you will want to adjust the media query for the mobile layout and the tablet layouts. So take the time to do that. So actually, this is a great example. I'm going to actually switch gears and change things up. I'm going to design this mobile contact page right now because it's mobile over here. So for me, if I simply click and drag, I can create things on my wireframe. Boxes, shapes, images, text. And for me, remember, we talked about this being a logo image at the top left and the mobile view, okay? And if I want to designate what follows right here, I could designate, well, maybe this is my text or my navigational list, okay? So these are my listed items, my navigation, okay? And below here, I may have just a heading. And again, this is kind of a simple example, but I hope you get the idea. You will want to look at smart guides to start to establish where you'd like things to start and end, okay? And if we say, is this a box? No, this will actually represent a headline, won't it? Okay, for contact us. And then I was thinking, yeah, let's align this nicely underneath my links here with maybe just a little information, paragraphs on address, location, phone number, not too much about the website because that would be appropriate for the facts page. But again, decide what the page is and what you'd like to include. So I've got my list, my image, a heading, and some paragraph. And if I want to include like an image, for example, in this mobile view, I can again follow these smart guides and establish those boundaries essentially. If you click image, that's what's represented by an image. It's almost just a rectangle with an X crossed through it. And so be familiar with these if you want to also just establish, yeah, the footer should be there because I've included it on my main page. And maybe I just want to have, as well, a list of some of that content down here. And if I say, oh, wait, I need to adjust something that's not the right size, I can simply click on these anchor points and I can adjust them left and right. And if you remember, okay, we had social media icons at the bottom of our page. So I might just bring these down further and down here just have you know, 3 little images perhaps of these. So I'll just duplicate that 3 times. Okay. So that's kind of the idea with wireframes. Just give me a real quick example of what you want to do, because it's much easier to mark up a page once you have an outline or a plan established. So I would recommend doing this in mobile view if that's what you're going for, because you can always scale it larger later. The same can be said for, well, if you just want to build this wireframe in desktop view, go for it. Okay. You don't have to do this for mobile view right now. Okay. You can just create a new one for the desktop view. And again, just use these tools. Start to play around with this and get familiar with it. For example, if I want to simply duplicate my desktop view, I'll just resize my window and I'll say, okay, let's get this going. Let's include, what is it, the header? I should say the heading. Okay, the main headline, and then you say, yeah, and the main headline was sharing half the page, right, with an image. And then you simply indicate where you'd like things to go. So that's kind of how I'd use this. Use the main index homepage as a guide. And maybe you make similar things happen on these secondary pages over here, on your secondary ones here. So use the homepage, design these secondary pages, and please ask questions, email me, comment on the announcement discussions if you're having trouble. But use these wireframe tools. Essentially, when you're all done, okay, I'm going to be grading you on your ability to produce and complete 2 wireframes. Each wireframe needs to include at least an image, significant text, and a headline. And again, I would just duplicate the heading and I would duplicate the footer. But really, I'm concerned with, can you differentiate and make things look different here in the body of the main div. So I look forward to seeing your work. This is a short screencast, but look for my announcement and please send messages my way. I look forward to seeing it.